Being an underager is a player that has that extra skill level to be able to play at a higher level. I mean, they are usually your franchise players later on in hockey, and saying that, that's what Bryan was. As far as the East Hants underager players that I know of that are in the elite league of their own would have been Andrew Gilby, Andrew Carver, Brian Gillis, Corey Urquhart, and Timothy Garden-Cole. So Bryan, when we played back in 2000-2001 season, he was a first-year Pee Wee AAA, and we hosted it in East Hants. And Bryan, being the player that he was, he never said too much, but what he did on the ice was phenomenal. If he could see it, he could stop it.
Bryan was always competitive, and I think, you know, it's a bit cliche, but like the bigger the game, the better he played, and that was every sport from the age of 12 years old, winning a hockey provincial to right to the bitter end. So my first experience coaching him, he actually started pitching a little more. First time I spent any amount of time with him around the ball field was that summer, and it's kind of eye-opening how he could just kind of turn things on. I'll go pitch, I'll go play shortstop, I'll go play center field, and just like he'd always played there. So that was kind of interesting.
He would make great saves that most goaltenders would never make. It's those there breakaways or those one-time shots that you would think a goaltender would never stop. He was a guy that could do that consistently. And in saying that, he was the big part of our team. You know, there's no I in team, but without Bryan, I don't know if we would have won without him. Bryan won MVP, right? First All-Star, top goaltender is the first year for our team. That just says it all.
He was the best goalie in junior A here as a 16, 17-year-old, which got him the opportunity to go to BC, which, you know, would have been most people's dream, I guess. Around here at the time, the BCHL was considered light years ahead of our league.
Bryan played for Rural Canada Junior A, which would have been Tier 2 Cup.
You had to be the best in Canada, not just the best in the Junior A league.
Here in Trail once again tonight, the World Junior A Challenge Final is next.
Starting goalies now brought to you by Chevrolet.
In this tournament, the East goalie Bryan Gillis from Antigonish Bulldogs of the Maritime Junior A Hockey League from Elmsdale, Nova Scotia. .941 save percentage, had a tremendous game in the semifinal, a 2-1 win over Russia.
I've watched a fair amount of university hockey, and that is great hockey, even above and beyond your Tier 2, which is Junior A, and then Major Junior A. And Bryan excelled at that also. One of Bryan's highlights of his career was knocking off UNB in university hockey, and they were a powerhouse, a team to win.
UNB pretty much had everybody's numbers, so to see Bryan be able to do that, I'm not shocked. He was always had this kind of quiet confidence about him, that he would be joking around or goofing around, and then all of a sudden Bryan would be able to just snap into it and be the most fierce, competitive guy who would do anything to win type deal. He was unique in that way.
After university, Bryan moved on to play pro in the Central Hockey League, knowing that Bryan was the only one goaltender out of East Hants that went on to play at a pro level, and he actually excelled there too. Bryan, after his pro career, went on to play in Newfoundland, and that hockey, Allan Cup, is likely the most cherished for people that moved on and didn't choose to play in the NHL and play at a high level of hockey. That was what you would play.
At that time when we were there, I think it was kind of at its height of skill and competitiveness, and there was, you know, imports being flown over, which Bryan was, and as I was, and a bunch of other guys from around here. But I put it at the pro level. There was ex-NHL guys, ex-AHL guys. Most guys played at minimum, you know, were top-end Junior A guys, and it would be the low end up to pro. So it was very high caliber.
Rolling puck comes along the left wing. Morrison's going to skate back on it here. Ryan DeRoche is on his back pocket. Cataracts are going to retreat back into their own zone. The goalie will make the save for the final time. And Bryan Gillis will celebrate with his teammates as they pour off the bench. For the first time in franchise history, the Grand Falls Windsor Cataracts are Allan Cup champions.
I love putting this on the Allan Cup. There's no better guys in the world than guys that play for the Allan Cup. Tough to do it, and it's a big deal to me and most hockey guys.
And the Grand Falls Windsor Cataracts, for the first time in franchise history, are celebrating an Allan Cup Senior Men's Canadian Championship.
Bryan was MVP, and Bryan's sweater, after winning the Allan Cup, is retired in the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. And saying that just says everything about him. I mean, you talk to anybody who watched that series, and even his coach and fellow players, he was the major part of them winning that Allan Cup.
The Allan Cup's a pretty prestigious tournament, and we were both fortunate enough to play in it and win one, and he was basically the leader of the team. He was, I would say maybe Roberto Luongo type-esque. Like, he had that captain mentality where he had confidence, and he would speak up at the right time, and he would say things at the right time. And there's the best, and then there's Bryan Gillis.
Bryan was that good, lucky to play at the big show, the NHL. And just recently, looking at all the documentation of his career, none of that surprised me, knowing that he was that good.
At the Nationals, we had a great tournament. We got our double life, so we were one of the top 4 teams heading into the playoff round. It was a unique team. We played good defense, we got timely hitting, we had good pitching. We certainly weren't that team that was going to steamroll there and blow everyone out. But Bryan was one of those guys, timely hits. It's always interesting to see Bryan, on a Thursday night doubleheader. I don't want to say going through the motions, but and then the intensity ramp up that he shows, and guys just naturally gravitate and follow that. So that was the biggest takeaway, is just how he elevated intensity, and then that usually leads to results. So my biggest takeaway for Bryan easily in that finals is we had a kind of an uneventful start to the first inning. 2 quick outs, and then we just get a kind of a bloop single to left. So still kind of just cruising along, and then Bryan comes up, 2-run home run. We're up 2-0, and then it felt like, okay, we're gonna, you get that feeling, we're gonna win this ball game. And in classic Bryan fashion, he steps up, hits a home run in the first inning in a big game. So. Well, I think in our community, especially at the time when everyone played a lot, lots of guys played multiple sports. I'd say very few excelled at 2 sports. For him to win a national title in hockey and ball, and being a key contributor in both, he batted right in the middle of our lineup. He's the goaltender of a team that wins an Allan Cup. So rare to be such an impactful player in both sports. Guys have played it, but as a 2-sport athlete, I couldn't think of anyone that's won multiple national championships and contributed in both sports. So that's my biggest takeaway, how much he contributed in both sports. I just love how to see these guys. Now he's coaching minor hockey. Now he's coaching minor ball. He's one of these guys keeping these sports alive that we all love so much. And that's what I like to see, Great player. A lot of guys were great players, and you don't see them again. Now he's on the ball field with 7-year-old kids. He's at the hockey rink. So that's what I'd say I'm most proud of from Bryan.
Hey Bryan, congratulations on being inducted into the East Hants Sports Hall of Fame. I know how important that is to you, and how much of a role model you are for other young men in the community, and everyone's very happy and proud of you. So just congratulations and enjoy it.
Congratulations, Bryan, on this special honor. Certainly well deserved. Enjoy your night. Couldn't be happier for you. Congratulations.
2024 East Hants Sport Hall of Fame inductee, Bryan Gillis.